Oktoberfest it may be, but September here in the UK right now, and it is sweltering, so a cold beer is just what we need. Hello and welcome back to the channel, and yes, that's right, it's Oktoberfest season still. This is the fourth beer from our Oktoberfest series. It's either the second to last one or the second to last one, depending if we can get the elusive sixth Oktoberfest beer this year. We don't know yet, still not available, but for now, the Oktoberfest Marzen from Pschorr. Now, with all of these, the pronunciation on the breweries, I'm going to butcher a bit. German is very kind of slightly nasal and slightly kind of back of the mouth. Brits don't speak like that. I find it very difficult. I think I'm not even going to try, to be honest. It would be just, yeah, I'd butcher it. It would sound even worse. So Pschorr is the pronunciation I'm going with. Yes, I know it's probably wrong. This is an Oktoberfest Marzen, as I said, which is different to all of the other ones we've had before now, and the other one we've got to come up that we've got so far, because they were all Oktoberfest beers. This is an Oktoberfest Marzen. Now, in theory, there's no difference, right? It's just a term that means the thing that we associate with Oktoberfest beers. However, Marzen is the traditional term. It's what people in Germany and in Bavaria would call these types of beers if they were actually made in the Marzen way. What is that? Well, it's basically beer that's been lagered since March. And yes, that does sound like an odd time and oddly specific, but there is a reason, and it's because in Germany years ago, there was effectively laws in place to say you couldn't brew beer between, I think it was the end of March or mid-March, and sometime in the autumn, which is now basically kind of start of September maybe. I don't know the exact dates, obviously, but yeah, so that's Marzen means March, and that's what it is. In today's brewing systems, modern brew kits, you can get the same effectively elongated lagering process done quicker, so you don't have to do it that way, which may be why some of them don't choose to call it a Marzen, because technically it's not. However, this one, I'm not going to say definitely is, but well, it's got a good chance. So Pschorr, I've not had a huge amount from them, if I'm totally honest, but I've heard very good things, so I'm very excited for this one. I think this could finally pip the Paulaner off the top spot. We've not had a count up so far. We're going to do it now. I feel like we're on number 4. We're probably losing track a little bit. I actually don't know, sat here right now, what's where. The Paulaner is definitely at the top. The Spartan's definitely at the bottom. And this is 4, so there's only 3, which means the Hofbrau sat in the middle. But the exact numbers on the screen right now, that is where we're at. Got 2 more beers to go to find out which of them, if any, can beat that very, very good score by the Paulaner. But if any of them have got a chance, well, actually, both of these last 2 certainly have a chance. And this one is my, I guess, my pick to do it. But I don't actually know what it's going to be like. So who knows? We will find out. As I said in the introduction, apologies if I go pink, red, beads of sweat dripping. Like it's 27 degrees in the shade right now, and I went out and did some work on the van earlier, and it was 33 in the van, and it wasn't even peak of the day yet. So inside is warm. Obviously I'm not in the van now, I'm at home, but you know what I mean. I'm just telling you, it's hot. It is hot under the studio lights, everything else. Not the most pleasant experience, so let's get straight into this one. I did say in the previous one, I think that was 5.9%, the Spartan. I did say I wasn't expecting to go any lower than that. Well, it turns out, accidentally, we've been coming down in ABV every single day of this Oktoberfest beer review series, because this one is 5.8. So either one step down or exactly the same as the previous one. Still within the normal realms, just not as strong as some of the others. Before we crack it open then, here's a quick look at the bottle. Notable difference on this one, it's got the swing top cap, which is very cool, and it's going to make a great noise, I would imagine. Nice design there. There you go, Pschorr Oktoberfest Marzen, Marzen. Load of info on the back, as you would expect. But yeah, nice trad looking thing. But yeah, I'm very excited to get into this one. As always, I will be reviewing this in a freshly washed and rinsed, incorrect a bit of glassware. bit of water out of there. For consistency reasons, really. I've explained it enough times. Go and watch the other videos if you want to know why I'm not using a stein. But yes, let's get into this one. So I reckon the noise from this pop is going to be fantastic, and I'm gonna turn the microphone up a little bit. Ready? That was wholly underwhelming. It actually got stuck. Like, it let some of the gas out, but well, never mind. Not a strong start, but it doesn't. That's not a prerequisite for a good score, so never mind. Let's get this poured. Has to be said, in the glass, this is darker than the rest by a good margin. And as with the others, I'm basically just trying to pour it to get it to be as good as it can be. And the case of doing that is slightly aggressive pour, get some of the gas out of there, let it settle down, get all of the beer from the bottle into that glass, and then we'll carry on. And there we have it. That is the entire beer in the glass. It really is a lot darker than the others. Don't get me wrong, it's still a nice golden colour, but it's deep, it's dark, it's the depths of the sun gold, this one. It's like true gold rather than kind of straw, hay, or even slightly zesty, lemony, some of them. It is properly rich. If I hold it up to the camera, I don't know, see, it doesn't really do it justice. It's not quite as dark as it's looking for you right there, but it's a lot darker than pretty much any other lager you would expect. And this, in my mind, is actually more like what I expected the rest of them to be like. I don't know why that is, because I've had some of them before, but still in my mind, this deeper, darker, richer profile for a beer is what I'm personally looking for in that big, amped up Oktoberfest beer, lager, Marzen thing, right? Visually, I need to rate it. And as you can see, the head has dissipated quite quickly, and based on the opening as well, it seems a little undercarbonated, possibly. Maybe some's leaked out because of the swing top, I don't know. But the colour, the clarity, everything else, actually I'm in favour of. So I'll be honest, I wanted the head on this to remain lovely because I think it could have scored a 10. Like, in terms of the visual for me, this is absolutely spot on. I know it's looking way darker on camera than it really is, but yes, that very deep, almost is amber hued lager. And yeah, because of the head thing, I can't give it a full house, but it is definitely a 9. It's straight up a 9 straight away. Fantastic start on the Pschorr. Aroma time. No big surprises. Exactly what I was expecting, just as generic as you can get Oktoberfest style beer aromas. Some of them I have said the aromas dropped away a bit, it's not been very strong. Not the case with this, it's all there. Bit lower on the malt on the nose than some of them, more mineral forward, a little bit more of that kind of metallic-y lager thing. Again, it sounds bad, it's not always a bad thing as long as it's there in the right measure. A few light fruity notes in this one. There's nothing wrong with the aroma at all. I'm a little bit worried about how dulled off though that malt nose is, but the rest of it I can't pick any fault with. I mean, the hop in there is also not particularly dominant, so it's the water, it's the mineral quality that's really coming through. The rest of the aspects are a bit tame. Don't get me wrong, you can smell the malty beer, it's not enough to go it's distinctly bready or cakey or, you know, whatever. It's just a little bit kind of regular, nice quality German lager malt just chilling in the background. And the hop, say, normally comes out either a little bit floral or a little bit zesty or whatever. Again, not really doing that either. As a result, because of my hesitation, reluctantly here, I need to be doubly sure of this. Yeah, it's just not doing enough. Certainly not doing enough for a 10, and I don't think it's quite doing enough for a 9 either. So it's an 8. It's a respectable score, but I had really high hopes for this beer, so I'm a little bit disappointed. But it's solid. It's absolutely solid, just nothing wowing, and I would have liked a few more just individual notes from the malt and the hops to be able to really get my nose into, but it's not doing it for me, so we can't say any more than that. Let's get into it, shall we? Cheers. It's either brilliant or terrible, and I'm not quite sure which it is yet. Something weird's going on with the carbonation. It's kind of like really flat and overly fizzy in different sections. I'm trying to just get it around the glass and see if we can make it any better. Right. It is a really, really nice, enjoyable Oktoberfest beer. For some reason, in my mind, I thought it was going to be the special one. It's got this swing cap, which I know is just a bottle thing, but I don't know, it's like, it feels like they're taking a bit more care, a bit more authenticity, a bit more old school. The colour of it, it's darker, it's deeper, it looks more, yeah, I don't know, just richer, more put together, more, I don't know, I had great expectations for great flavour out of this. And the reality is, it tastes like what was a absolutely stupendous beer 6 months ago. It feels old. I don't know whether some carbonation is leaked out of this bottle. It's entirely possible. I have got one more. It's not in the fridge at the minute, so I can't just pop it open and try that one instead. But I'll let you know either in the comments or in the video, depending on when I get to drink that one, if that was any better. But yeah, it just feels like old beer, is what I can say about this. The flavours are there, and it's important for me to identify that I'm saying it feels like old beer, not off beer. As in, beer has a period of time at which it's at its best. Most retailers will put on like a year from bottling or something. Craft beers tend to be 3, 4, 5, 6 months when it's high hop. This one, the best before is the 4th, so April 2024, which is effectively a month, I guess, after it was made. A year after it was finished being made. It feels as old as it is, and that shouldn't happen with a lager that's just been bottled up and conditioned and everything else. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. Now, again, as with the other ones where I've had issues with the beer, I'm being really picky because I have to be really picky because they are all, in essence, incredible, right? They are all fantastic beers, all a style that I really, really enjoy, and I would be happy to drink every single one of them over and over again because they are all ace. However, if you want to know which one to buy, if you're just going to buy one, my job is to try and let you know what the problems are with the other ones and which one actually ends up being the very best. This is categorically not the very best, as you can probably tell. I'm going to try a quick top to bottom taste test so you can try and understand what I'm having issue with or not finding that I would like to find, and then we'll give it a score on the taste out of 10 so we can add it to our chart. So initially, slightly dull, reasonably carbonated, and also slightly sour on the front of the tongue, which is a bit of an oddity for a lager, it has to be said. Do excuse me, I'm picking dog hair out of my moustache because that's the thing that happens in my house. Kind of first third of the tongue, that little sour note evolves into bitterness, genuine beer bitterness, which is what you want, absolutely fine. The malt starts to come through. It is bready, undeniably bready, but like I said about one of the others, and I think it was the Spartan one, it doesn't taste like a good quality loaf. It tastes a bit cheap, like just generic bread. Not bad bread, not, you know, you're happy to eat it, it's just not very exciting. It's your Warburton's regular sliced loaf, in effect. You know, it's fine. It's really fine. Mid-tongue, it starts to get a bit sweeter. A few caramel, toffee, so, you know, like honey on toast kind of notes. But again, they're not quite strong enough to be impressive. They don't feel quite quality enough to be wowed at the point that they are, if that makes sense. It's just, again, it's a nice touch. It's a nice flavour profile. No issues at all. I'm just not being wowed by it. And then at the back of the tongue, low-key bitterness again. That low-key bitterness kind of sits throughout the whole tongue. It's not too much. It's fine. It's perfectly good for the beer style, to be honest. But it's bitterness without any of the context of where the bitterness is coming from. In these beers, in general, that bitterness is coming from the hop. And, well, look, I complain a lot about overly hopped beers. I don't think they're very nice in a lot of instances. There are exceptions, of course, but in essence, when people, especially with lagers, go and create a India Pale Lager or a cold IPA or whatever you want to call it, and just ram a load of hops at a lager for the sake of it being hoppy, I'll almost always hate those and say that it's awful and rip it to pieces, because the balance just isn't there. In this, they've gone almost the other way. They've managed to get the bitterness out of the hop, but with none of the character whatsoever. In my mind, from what I like out of a beer, that wouldn't be an issue if the malt had such a fantastic kind of breadth of profile that you were just wild by and enjoying that on its own. That would have been fine. But the malt isn't good enough to offset the fact that there's no hop kind of flavour there. You're just getting the bitterness, and as a result, you're left with a beer that's starting to feel a little bit empty in places, which is a bit strange. Aftertaste though, a little bit bitter, a little bit sweet. Buttermilk comes to mind. Don't know why. This goes kind of slightly creamy, semi-acidic, but super sweet kind of, you know what I mean? It's a really awkward one, because it is better than almost every lager you could walk out into a UK shop right now and buy. But it's not quite good enough for the special thing that is Oktoberfest from one of the official Oktoberfest breweries. So yeah, it's fine. I like it more. I have to keep this in mind now. I do like it more than the Spartan. The conditioning is really poor on this, but the actual flavors, there's nothing wrong. It's just they're not quite expressive enough for it to be really special. So point has to go for the condition, because the carbonation's all over the place. It's not really any good. We're going to lose a point for the fact that the malt character isn't truly there, and we're going to lose a point for the fact that the hop character isn't truly there either. So is that fair? No, I'm comparing it to that is fair. It's the same, I think, in terms of a score for taste that Spartan got. As a result, I actually prefer this one. I think I need to make it important to say, but it has the same number of flaws, I think. Or did that get less? I can't remember. That might have only got 6. I can't remember now. It'll be on screen now as a revised total of what's going on in this little competition. But yeah, Pschorr, it's always problematic when you have one that you're most excited about, most hyped for, and it just comes in and doesn't quite meet that expectation. It's a shame, but it's still delicious. So if you buy a whole box, don't worry, it's not going to ruin your day. There might be 1 or 2 in there that are a little bit better. But I guess next time we'll find out at least which is the best Oktoberfest beer that you can buy in the UK right now, and hopefully in a few weeks' time, which is the best one, full stop. So yeah, until then, that's really all I've got to say about it. So as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you haven't already, subscribed if you will be so kind, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.